camped right in there last night. Good morning, this is day 137 on my hike from Mexico to Canada on the Pacific Crest Trail. It is Thursday, September 18th. It is cold. I'm actually in my my down jacket, which I think I've only hiked in like maybe twice this whole time. It was really hard to get out of bed when it's cold and dark, but I managed and haven't taken my morning poop yet, so if you factor that time in, it's basically a 7 a.m. start, which is not bad. I got up around 6. I woke up around 5. I went back to bed. I didn't have an alarm set or anything, but it was it's so cold and really hard to get moving. But I think I'm the first one out of camp. There was probably like 7 other people or so at this campsite, which I was surprised to see, including a lady who is doing some parts of the trail with horses. So I actually camped next to some horses last night, which was kind of cool. She said because she used it as like a base, she was there the night before, so there's nobody else camped. And then tonight there's like a bunch of people, so there's definitely these pockets of hikers back here still. But yeah, I have, I gotta check exactly. I think I have like 12 miles or so to get to White Pass, there's a store called Cracker Barrel's General Store, which is not like the restaurants that are the chain restaurants that are kind of in the rural places and places like on the interstates and traveling, which I love, but it has the same name, it's just spelled with a K though. I have a package waiting for me there. So I'll go in there, hopefully charge my devices, get the package. I'm not sure about shower and laundry, and then keep moving. I need to get in the habit again of sleeping with my filter, because if it dips below freezing, the components inside that actually filter things out freeze, and then it can become ineffective and dangerous in that sense, or you can get sick. So I don't think it dipped below freezing last night, but it's definitely quite cold this morning, and it was last night. So I really need to remind myself to do that. So yeah, I looked just 12 and a half miles from where I started to get to White Pass and the Cracker Barrel store. So that should be my morning, and hopefully get a bunch more miles done in the afternoon. Keep trekking along. So last night, walked a few miles in the dark with Lila, and someone heard my voice, like, I know that voice, and I stopped, and it was dark, but they were set up for the campsite. It was JP and Luke, and Hannah, the 2 brothers, and the German girl that I had hiked with a decent amount and ran back into a couple before Cascade Locks. I walked into Cascade Locks with them, but then they got in and out, and I stayed the night, obviously. So it was good to see them and know that I'm close to them still on trail. I think it sounds like a lot of people are going to be heading into town. There's a town, Peckade or something like that. One sec. It's called Packwood. That sounds like a lot of people are actually going to head into that town, and it's somebody on trail's birthday, so they're all going to go to a brewery and hang out and have a little party. I thought, it was nice. I was invited. I appreciate that, but I feel like right now every day counts out here. If I take half a day off to go to Packwood, and look, it's kind of, we're rounding out. It's sort of like that last week of school when you're in like middle school or high school before summer break, or maybe even, let's say, senior year of high school. It's like the week before school ends, or 2 weeks before school ends. You can start to feel a little antsy because big changes are coming, and it's time probably to move on, but also you want to maximize the memories and time with those you've been around, knowing it's never going to be like this again. I had a similar, it kind of reminds me of senior year of college too, but in one hand I want to kind of enjoy these last few weeks and it's interesting, some of the people that have all kind of ended up kind of being here at the same time. Like I was talking 2 nights ago when I was in that big group, like 7 or 8 of us all got dropped off from Trout Lake together that ended up basically camping in the same spot together. It felt sort of like the bubble again back early on in the desert. Haven't really experienced that since in a long time. Well, we realized almost half of us or more were all on Forester Pass on 4th of July. But like, I didn't even know half these people then, or any of them actually that night. So it's interesting from a pacing standpoint, kind of how we're all here. And some of these people I've known for a while, like Lila I met early on in the desert, and the twins I met in the desert, and John Paul and Luke in Espresso, or Hannah I met coming out of Yosemite, which at this point was a while ago. Like, a lot of memories formed and just exciting seeing people here and there. So on one hand, I want to maximize that time because part of it is the people you meet out here for sure, and really just enjoy people's company. And so on that hand, I should probably go to Packwood tonight and just hang out and chill and celebrate. But on the other hand, I have my top goal which was to get to Canada in one stretch here, and all my decisions have had to stem from that top priority. And right now, like with this weather and the time of year and everything, like I think any day with good weather is a blessing, and any day with bad weather is it has to be expected that it'll hit again. And like that rainstorm was just horrible. I think it's worse, rain and cold, and for a sustained period of time like that, I think is worse than snow. So that looks like blood dripping, and it still looks kind of wet. Yeah, that's wet. And is it a wounded animal? Where does it go? Kind of starts here. I'll keep my eyes peeled and extra vigilant right now. Don't want to get in the way of like a mountain lion kill or something like that. Yeah, that's blood. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what else that would be with this much of it and how it's kind of dripping around. So, and that it's still wet. So anyways, all right, I'm just gonna be a little extra vigilant, but I feel like every day really counts now. Like, for example, if I take half a day off to go into Packwood and see all these people and have beers, which sounds amazing, that could end up biting me in the butt. You know, that could end up being the difference between finishing October 5th and October 6th. And that could be the difference of being caught in a snowstorm or really cold rain again. And potentially could even be the difference in not being able to finish. So I have to make the decisions back solving for the top priority and goal that I've had from day one when I set out to do this on April 11th. And that is to complete the Pacific Crest Trail and get to Canada. So I will be foregoing stopping in Packwood, and I will be continuing on. And who knows, because of the pacing and timing difference there, I mean, I wouldn't say it's normally because things kind of all balance out at the end. A lot of these people I saw, I didn't think I'd see again. I ended up seeing them again. But given this is the final push, like if I'm doing 25-mile days, I've got less than 3 weeks left. And obviously that goes down if I do even more. So it could be the last time I see a lot of these people. Could also not be, don't know. But I think it's not even really a decision for me. I got to stick to what I've been focused on. I've got a nice 1,500 plus foot climb over the next like 3 miles. Pretty rough. There's really not a good reliable water source for like 9 miles from here. I'm ballparking, so I'm gonna fill up water here, try to power through this. Yeah, I just took my warm-up gear off. It is a 1,800-foot climb in 3.5 miles. So, just took my headphones out to listen to some music, just try to get through this, and then climb down, eventually get into this little town or pass. So I just recorded that last video 30 seconds ago, and I'm starting to smell smoke. I smelled a little this morning. It's definitely thicker now. The fire should still be a ways away, but yeah, most people, I think the recommended route around it is basically hitching, and you end up having to go around the closure, which is like, you end up skipping 30 miles. The closure itself, I think, is like 18, but the 12-mile difference, you'd basically walk in and then be stuck at the line where the fire closure starts. There's nowhere to go. So the PCTA recommended reroute is to get a ride from White Pass, where I'm going now, to a road that's just after the fire closure. So I don't know, crow flies, there's trail miles and everything. Like, I'm still probably 20 miles or so away from, at least for as the crow flies, where this starts, but can definitely feel it in my throat and smell it a little bit. Might take out the buff in a minute. Brief break in the climb. Probably have about a mile left up. Nice view of Mount Rainier over the clouds. I'm about a quarter mile from the top of this climb. Just got this ridge line, very pretty colored water there, and that lake, I don't know if that counts as an alpine lake or not, but, and on the other side, Mount Rainier. Now the sun is back directly hitting me. That was Shoe Lake down there, for what it's worth. I just got to the top of this climb. I literally think that this is the trail right here, and it goes down and then it's gonna dip around. I'm pretty sure that's it, with Rainier in the background. A very beautiful other mountains in the Cascades here with the fog. Beautiful. It says leaving Goat Rock Wilderness. I haven't seen anyone yet today, even though there's a good amount of people camped where I did, and I personally knew 7 or 8 people camped within the 4 miles behind where I camped. I think I was the first one to get out, which feels really good, actually. So my watch is dead, and I didn't charge it last night. I was just so exhausted. It's probably really what it was, and I don't know. Anyways, so I don't have my exact mileage as I'm going, but I can check through the app far out. I have 5 miles left to get to White Pass, where I plan to pick up a package, hopefully charge my devices at the Cracker Barrel store, and keep moving. Actually, I'm gonna have to get a ride, because that's where the fire zone starts, coming out of there basically, so figure that out while I'm there. But yeah, making pretty good progress here so far. Actually, not like it really matters, but I was thinking about it. There are 12 people that camped behind me last night, probably within 5 mile stretch that I know personally, which is pretty much every person out there at this point. But most of them I had met before the stretch, so that's kind of cool. Very beautiful. It's a little harder to video right now and take pictures because I have to keep my phone in my left pocket till I can fix these pants. And it's just more of a process to get out and transfer to my right hand. I did actually do some filming and videoing and navigating yesterday with my left hand, but it's just not as efficient or steady. Oh, not only is Mount Rainier through there, there's a ski lift, it looks like, so right in front of me here. Well, now I'm really going down the rabbit hole, but you have a lot of time to think out here. So that 12 number of people I mentioned does not include 3 people that were on the shuttle with us coming out of Trout Lake, or actually 4, because Lila wasn't including that camped with me. So that means there are 16 people, excluding myself, kind of in that little bubble right now there, which is a lot. And then there was also a few other people camped with us last night that I don't know, that are PCT, I believe. So that's quite a lot of people for this little stretch here, this time of year and the trail and everything. Oh, my plantar fasciitis was doing better for a couple of days there, and then it started acting up yesterday in my right heel, and it is coming in waves in full force today. It really sucks. Feel it in every step, but that aside, my left shin's feeling a little weird, but overall, body's doing okay. But this pain now on my right heel, where the plantar fascia hits the heel, is slowing me down a bit, but I haven't looked. I probably have about 3 miles left or so, maybe 2.5. All right, this is Highway 12 and White Pass. The Cracker Barrel store is that way, maybe like half a mile to a mile, I don't know exactly. Love to catch a ride, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Guy at the trailhead parked there asked us just now if I was doing the whole thing. I said, yeah. He said, hope you make it before snow. Good luck, buddy. Which is a fair reminder. It's good to hear that, actually, because there's so many people, of these 16 or so, 17 people behind me. Most of them are just so laissez-faire right now about just like having time into October, and I just don't think you can bank on that. So I need to stay focused and getting my miles in each day as long as my body holds up. And I mean no offense to any of them whatsoever. They're all friends of mine. I just don't think you can count on that. I thought about trying to get a hitch, but just been walking. Cars have been blowing by, like big semi-trucks, right next to me on the highway here. It's not super safe, but this is the route everyone takes. There's really no other way. I think I see it there. I don't know if they have like a cafe. I really hope so, but I'm not sure they do. I absolutely despise any steps that are non-trail. So this has been like probably a mile, and I hate road walking. These cars are blowing by. It's quite windy. No easy day out here. It says, welcome to White Pass. I think that is it. Oh man, this sucks. I hate extra miles and walking on the road. Like, it's not a huge deal, but like, I sent a package here to save time. I didn't realize it was this far off. Like, the amount of time it's gonna take me a mile off, mile back, I could have just hitched to the packwood or something, but it'll still save time overall. I'm just being pissy, probably because I haven't eaten much. But also, I'm gonna have to find a ride to get around this fire now. But first, I want to get in, charge my devices, pick up my package, and then plan that out. Maybe even upload a video if there's Wi-Fi. You can see that ski lift there. It comes down right here. This is Chowder. He graciously has offered us a ride. He just finished hiking 3 days ago, the PCT, hit the terminus. Yep. And you live around here?
I do, yep.
Cool.
Yep.
So he's given us a ride past the fire closure, so I was very grateful. I just jumped on it. Only been here for a few hours, but gonna head out. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, man.
Just saying hi. Guys, this is Yam. I don't know if you remember. Just literally from
7.
Yeah, or probably earlier. It might have been like very early on. So I haven't seen her since then. So pretty cool to relink. And this is Daniel. Met him today. Awesome guy. Great name, you know.
Yeah.
All right. I just got dropped off at Chinook Pass from a very, very nice guy named Clam Chowder, chill name, who just finished hiking the PCT himself. And saw a really old friend that met early on. Awesome Yam. And then 3 new friends, so 5 of us crammed in his car and he gave us a ride. It was a long road. I think it was 20 miles of closure, and then there's an extra like 10-ish or 12 or something that you couldn't get out of. So basically like 30 miles that had to be skipped because of the fire closure. But the car ride was at least, man, I don't know what time it is, but probably like 2 hours. So I am back on trail now. I have a full resupply that I had sent to myself, plus my Ursack, which is barrier-proof bag. So I've had a pretty heavy pack right now. And it was for 4 days, but now I have 30 miles less. So I have a lot of extra food and extra weight. All right, PCT North. Don't want to get that wrong. So yeah, here's what I'm thinking about. The first closure, well, technically there's a few miles in right road, but I did a bunch of road walking and sidewalks around that one. But then there was the one near Etna, just 20 miles, which is easily covered from all the side trails I've done, like Kearsarge Pass is an easy one to name. That was 7.5 each way, so like 15 or 14 and some change. This one, about 30 miles of closure due to the fire. You can see the smoke out there, but it is there's 30 miles I have to do once I hit the terminus. I have to walk 30 miles back to get a ride out at Hart's Pass. So, and that's not part of the PC. I mean, it is on the PCT because I'm coming back the way I came, but it's not part of the mileage. So I've been really lucky. Most years people end up having to skip hundreds of miles, and oftentimes we'll go back to redo those sections in the following year. So if this is all I end up having to, and skip's a word I don't like to use because so many people just casually skip for their own convenience or because they don't want to do it. I'm talking about like it's closed legally, can't be on it because there's a fire. So very fortunate in that sense of a year here. So if it ends up just being about 50 miles total, that's pretty good. I would take that all day and easily just kind of gave a mile for mile matching of how those are made up. So feeling good about that. Can't control it. Even the guy who dropped us off had to skip these miles, and he lives around here. But he just finished tagged the terminus 3 days ago, and now he's I think he's riding to see family, and he saw the hikers there and wanted to help some out. So I got really lucky, especially because I told you how many people were behind me. Now a lot of them would be going into Packwood for the night, as mentioned, but a good amount of them wouldn't be. And sounds like, unlike Trout Lake, where there's so many trail angels and they're so organized, where they had scheduling with the shuttles and everything, like this isn't a normal hitch that's needed. It's because getting around this fire. So it sounds like there's just one person helping hikers out, and I did have that number shared with me, but it sounds like he's just doing rides once a day in the morning. So I would have had to stay there all night and then head out in the morning. So this worked out fantastic. The timing couldn't have been better. I had to roll the punches though, and just move quickly so I could be ready for the ride, and it worked out great. Those heavy packs are already doing numbers on my plantar fasciitis in my right foot, but we will power through. So yeah, basically if I was just at my own leisure, I would have spent probably another few hours at that stop at White Pass. But I had 2 packages waiting for me. One was a resupply box I sent to myself when I was injured in Ashland, saved some time. And the second was from my good friend Figs in San Diego, who sent up my passport because I might go see some friends in Vancouver after this, since I'll be up that way. I've been meaning to visit one of my good friends there for years. I actually even once had a trip planned to go to Tofino with him and had to cancel it for a deal that was closing at work. So important, right? So when I was in private equity, So, and that was the middle of me going through a divorce too. It's like the one vacation I planned and needed, and I had to cancel it. So basically, I'm really looking forward to getting up there and seeing them, but I didn't have my passport with me, so I might end up doing that. So I have that option now. I also had to have my Ursac sent to me, and then while he was there, he sent me a few other things that I had in a box already of supplies that I might need. It was the only time I've had stuff sent from home, including just like a few like porta towels, which like are like the size of like a nickel, and but like maybe 3 or 4 nickels stacked on top of each other, and then you put water on it and it turns into a full wet wipe, stuff like that. So I had 2 packages, got those really quick. They had showers for $10 and laundry for $10, but I don't know if I would have done it anyways, but given this guy came up and was like, hey, I got room for 2 if someone needs a ride, I just jumped on it immediately, because it was probably going to be one of the most difficult hitches, if not the most difficult hitch of this entire experience. So I moved so quickly, got all my new food taken out, repacked my bag, because one of the things I sent myself from home in the other package was a new pack liner, even though the one I have, just a simple compactor bag, like trash bag, compactor, not tractor, compactor with a P, trash bag, works fantastic. It just had a few rips in it that I had duct taped, but because it's going to be wetter up here and this one's new, I was like, I'll take the new one. So I had to quickly reassemble my entire pack into that, and yeah, it worked out fantastic. It's 4 p.m. now. I arrived there at 12, around noon, and I couldn't have been there for more than an hour and a half. I think we left a little after 1. So yeah, it was almost over a 2-hour drive, I think, to get here. It says ballparking. All right, I gotta hang up and use my sticks because my right plantar fasciitis is really bugging me. I was just thinking, it was really cool. So nice of that guy, really cool guy, Chowder, to give us that ride, just to help out, you know. And he himself was just finished through hiking 3 days ago, I believe. And yeah, it's got to be an interesting transition period. Like when I finish, at some point I want to help out. I mean, I'm going to be towards the end here, so it'll probably be in future years. But especially being in San Diego, as long as I'm down out that way, there will be ample opportunities. I think it'd be more meaningful up here though, because we've kind of weeded out most of the people. I mean, at this point, I think you've pretty much weeded out everyone who's going to quit for the most part. So like down in San Diego, you're going to have everyone starting. So you're going to have all these people that aren't really going to end up doing it, but you still want to help. Obviously, it's just probably a little more meaningful towards the end than the beginning in that sense. But anyways, yeah, he asked the question, would you guys know what you're going to do after trail? And it was like probably the first time someone's explicitly asked that, which was interesting. It was I kind of liked hearing it in a way, because it's like a reminder I'm actually at that point now where it's like you're like, I don't know, like really close to graduating, right? It's like, what are you going to do after? Like, it's that time. Like, so it was just like a nice little reminder. But at the same time, I've got like 350 some miles. I think I had 350 to go, basically, when around there, ballpark, when I got to White Pass. So because of the 30 or just under 30 miles that the fire closure impacted, probably I still have over 300 miles to go, and it's mid to late September at this point, so nothing's guaranteed. Got a lot of intense days ahead of me, but you can start to really taste that the end is near here. Yeah, I'm just thinking still of my gratitude for Chowder for hooking up the ride and being so giving just after finishing his journey himself, and then just how grateful and fortunate I am for the timing. I guess in a sense, the early bird gets the worm, because there are so many people coming in behind me today. This is part of why I didn't want to adopt the trail name Marmot, because I knew that I'd be changing my habits as soon as the reason I like sleeping in. I'm not a morning person, so I slept in all trail because my bottleneck for the beginning and much of it was not the time or hours of the day. It was my body. But as soon as my body kind of stepped up and now I could actually hike all day, I started, adjusting, and now I've been getting up much earlier. In fact, I've been routinely these last week or two, kind of the first one. I mean, there weren't a ton of people until this past week, but getting up very early, and when they're having other people, kind of the first one out. And a lot of nights, the last one in. So a little LIFO policy, last in, first out. That's part of why I didn't want to adopt the trail name Marmot, because I knew at some point I'd have to adjust my ways. And the reason people want to give me Marmot was because I was kind of always the last one out of camp, not really active in the morning. And I guess marmots aren't active in the early morning. I did never fact check that, though. I never did fact check that, but I presume it's true because like 3 people told me that I was with. But yeah, it's very fortunate for the timing, how it all worked out. Every day, every hour counts right now. And the fact that like this is probably the most difficult hitch situation, would be my assessment. I didn't know that because I was just taking it piecemeal, right? One step at a time. I just knew I had to get to White Pass. I knew there was fire closure after it, and I knew I could package there. So my goal is just get to White Pass and then kind of collect myself and reassess. And quickly I learned from my friend Yam, who was so cool to see her again. She was somebody that should be in like day 4 video, if not sooner, when we were walking into Lake Merino or something like that. Can't even remember that far back, but yeah, like I don't know. Yeah, anyways, she had told me quickly, like, oh, there's this one guy doing rides, but it's only in the morning tomorrow. Like, there's a very good chance. And like a lot of my own hitching this trail, I've just done, and some of the people following this or watching this have given me hitches, and I'm so grateful for. We're just like actual hitches, not like scheduled rides or anything. That was the majority of my rides. But this was quite a ways away, and there was some turns involved and stuff, like highways. Like it was a couple hours. It would have been challenging. That just in and of itself would have taken a lot of time. Or if I waited for the ride in the morning. Either way, I'm looking at basically a lost, excluding the time of the ride, right? Because that's going to happen in any instance. I would have been looking at probably a lost half day or more between lost time today and tomorrow. So with my mentality that every day counts out here because the creeping in kind of weather, this was huge. This was absolutely huge. So I'm just grateful for how that all worked out and to be out here. So I've got about 70 miles to go. It looks like the skipped miles was just under 30 because it was originally 98 miles. And now I've got like 69 some change. So to get to Snoqualmie Pass, which is the next resupply point. Initially I had food carried or packed away for 4 days for the 98 miles, which really at the rate I'm going now, I would need like 3.5. So already had too much food. And now because of the about 30 miles fire closure, or 30 miles skipped due to the fire closure, because technically I think like 12 of those you could walk, but then you're stuck and there's nowhere to go, and then you're literally right up against the fire closure. I've got too much food for sure. But the interesting thing is Snoqualmie Pass is one of I think it's the last place I did not send a box that I was going to resupply there. So I'll just carry extra food. It sucks, and it's probably going to regret it, but if I wanted to take that ride, I didn't have time to sit there and go through it all. I could have just now at the trailhead. There's a trash can, but I don't feel right about throwing out a bunch of perfectly good food. So definitely have a heavy pack. Could be lighter for the reasons just outlined, but it's all good. There's some fun discussions in the car. I was like in the front. I got probably the best seat. I lucked out, but the sun from the sunroof was hitting me, so I was kind of like dozing off. I just am so fatigued and exhausted from doing 22 or something days straight now, maybe 23 of like high mile days without rest, like zeros or anything. So it's interesting. Once the second I was in a car, I was just like struggling to keep awake, but it was really interesting convos, including one about, the one guy said how few people actually finish this, and how many quit. And it mentioned in and of that, there's, finishers who have skipped, 200-300 miles, as I've discussed before. They certainly didn't have the same view on it as I do, to the same degree I do, because at the end of the day, what does it really matter? Everyone's just doing their own experience, their own hike. But then, it was mentioned, it was like, so they looked into it, like somewhere around 15 to 20% of people who try to do this all in 1 year actually finish it. That's around where my research is taking, as I found too. It's like 1 in 4 to 1 in 6, something like that. So just interesting stats, data point. Largely it corroborates what I had kind of found myself. Okay, it's about 2 miles in from where I got dropped off for the end of the fire closure. This is Sheep Lake. Very beautiful. Wish I could stay and hang out, but gotta get to Canada. So there's no water for the next 8.5 miles. I don't want to dry camp because my pack's heavy enough and there's a lot of elevation. So I'm gonna suck it up and try to get these next 8.5 miles in. Got less than 3 hours till sunset, but if I have to hike at dusk in the dark a little bit, that's okay. Just gonna continue on here. But I think I saw maybe 15 or 1,800 feet in elevation gain, maybe 1,000 in descent. So I've got my work cut out for me this evening, but I'm just grateful to be back on trail same day. I was just talking with Corn Cob and Beanbag, the two of the people I rode in the car with. The other two, Yam and Daniel, decided to skip ahead further to Snoqualmie Pass, which is the next that's 70 miles for me of hiking from here. So there's only 2 of the other 4 that were in the car with me here, and they were saying too, they think that's probably like definitely the longest hitch of the whole trail, and seemed to agree with me that it's like just would have been really tough. It was probably the only ride of the day, so we got really lucky. It's a good little climb to start back up here. So I came from there, sun. I'm on this side. Still have probably 700 feet till the campsite and elevation gain, but 1,000 in descent. So I did about half the elevation already. Yeah, it's much cooler on this side. I am sweaty, meaning like I'm wet, damp. Nice breeze here, but take the shades off now. I had 2 slices of pizza there, which the rest of the food was like clearly like the kind almost when you go to 7-Eleven, it's like the hot dogs rolling in the thing. Didn't look anything very appealing, but the pizza was kind of the same deal, but they were making it fresh and it was actually really good. So I had 2 slices of that, but then I just got moving super quick. Thankfully, I've got my process down enough now where as soon as I got there, I picked up my package and bought some drinks, but I couldn't carry it all. Like I didn't have a beer here or in Trout Lake, but I got like kombucha, like non-alcoholic, and like a healthier type of soda I'd never heard of before. But anyways, I didn't even have hands for them all. I didn't come grab them for like 15 minutes later, because what I did is I set up all my devices to charge, and I'm glad I've gotten in the habit of doing that first, because I had no idea I was going to be offered a ride like 20-30 minutes later. And thankfully that was the true bottleneck, is getting my battery packs and devices charged. I didn't get them all the way, but it should be enough to get me through. And if I hadn't done that, I couldn't have gone. I can forego doing laundry, can forego the shower. I had a box of my own resupply there. I did buy some cheese to bring fresh or from the gas station. But yeah, but what I'm getting is my food schedule today was thrown off because I didn't have that much food left this morning or for a proper breakfast. So I had like a Snickers and a couple snack bars, protein bars, whatever. And one thing, a little fruit snacks, is what got me through those 12.5 miles this morning. And then I had those 2 slices of pizza, so that was kind of like a late breakfast / early lunch. And I just stopped now because I forgot I had to drop my sleeping bag. So I stopped for a little bit, maybe like a mile back, half mile back, to drop my sleeping bag. And that's when I just ate some more stuff to try to lighten the load, and also because I was hungry. So just a little thrown off schedule. So I have a bit of a headache is what I'm really building this all up to. Feel a little just out of it. It's just a weird day. I get a little motion sickness too. Thankfully I was in the front seat. But yeah, I'm just happy that I was able to get past the fire closure in the same day I arrived. That's a big time saver. Okay, PCT, thankfully we're going down. The evenings are starting to get noticeably cooler. Like I'm debating putting on my fleece, and it's like probably not even 6 o'clock yet. I am out of the sun, but it's definitely just part of the general seasonal change transition that's going on. So it's just under an hour till sunset, and I've got a little bit under 5 miles to go. I got 4.7, and that means I'll be walking. And the terrain's been kind of tough. It's not. There's been climb and descent for sure, but it's really been like a lot of rocks and stuff like that. So it's slowed me down a bit, but that means I'll probably be walking in the dark at least 1.5 miles or so, which isn't ideal, but it's all right. Better than carrying a bunch of extra water weight right now and all that. So trekking along. Well, it's been a mile since the last video, but I had to stop. I think that you smoke maybe out there, or just fog, cloudy, but probably smoke. But here, it's so beautiful. Check that out. Beautiful shot of Mount Rainier, the sun setting. Oh, this is beautiful in person. A little blurry in the camera. Nice to see the regrowth in here amidst the burn. All right, just got to the top of another climb, so it should be downhill now to where I'm gonna camp by water. I've got 1 mile left. I just stopped briefly to get my headlamp out because it's now after sunset, dusk, and time soon where I'm gonna need to throw that on. I might grab a video at the tent site, but if not, this has been day 137. I started this morning very early, well, pretty early, earliest of the whole pack though, and then got a very fortunate hitch through the fire closure. I'll have ended up hiking still about 23 miles on the day, which is excellent for a day worth of resupply and a 2-hour ride for the fire closure. Again, the fire closure was less than 30 miles. It's just the closure itself was 20 something or something like that. And then there's like 10 others that you really, there had no way of getting in and out of. But it was just a long ride to get, because you couldn't obviously take the road to where we were going because that was closed too because of the fire. So, but yeah, got the fire. It's a very successful day in that sense. Body's holding up okay overall. I got some blisters bugging me. My right plantar fasciitis hurting, but overall, very fortunate for how it's feeling. So I will probably catch y'all tomorrow, if nothing more today. Ciao.